want to talk about Rosa Parks, who I think, it's really important since we don't necessarily get all the books in schools, to kind of learn about Black history. And, I myself have tried to educate myself about stories like these and women who had the courage to do things like this. And I think the myth is that somehow Rosa Parks boarded a bus and said, no, I'm going to sit here where I'm not supposed to sit. That's not what happened. Rosa Parks was sitting in the section that was marked for colored people. And it just so happened this particular day on this particular route, there were more white people that wanted seats. And they wanted to move Rosa Parks from the section that was marked colored people. And she had the courage to say, no, this is our section, and I'm staying. And then she was arrested. And that led to Martin Luther King and the boycott and that sort of thing. So, for a Black female, to have the courage in that situation, that's, for me, that I think that's really, really important history for all of us to know. Questions?
Well, now everything kind of seems less important.
Well, there's facts there too.
Yeah. First of all, can you give us an update on Fee and her ankle, and then just talk about how the team, rallied to win without her?
Yeah, I was really happy with that. Of course, it's too early to have an update on Fee. Fee's going to tell me she's fine. I know she's not. There's, the dreaded when all the players leave and Cheryl's still in the locker room with the coaches and Chuck walks in. So I haven't experienced that dread just yet to find out what's going to happen. But I do share, your sentiment, Kent, that that was a real, test for us with, a couple minutes to go with the game in the balance. I think it was 1 point lead for us. and what were we going to do? Who was going to sort of take over the scoring responsibilities, and what were we going to run, and that sort of thing. And we had to learn on the fly. And obviously I thought Nina came up big for us, and that's a player who puts a lot of pressure at the rim, much like Fee does. Of course, they do it differently, but Nina rose to the challenge for us.
You guys needed, everything you had offensively. They were. Yeah. Even without their three of their top five, they were just tough to stop tonight.
Yeah, they've been playing well offensively. If you look at the last 5 games. Statistically, they're in the top part of the league in the last 5 games, and so they found a way to play. They often play off their defense. I was really thrilled that we didn't really necessarily create a lot of offense for them off of our turnovers. That was big, because down in Washington we had 30. They had 30 points off our turnovers, and that's also how they're getting the easy stuff. But I thought we were going to have to score 120 to have a chance to win based on how we were going. Luckily, we got to the point where we were able to get some stops, and they made some shots that you go, analytically, you probably are going to give them those shots, and they were making them. The non-paint twos that they were draining. The threes, we just weren't close enough, and we needed to respect a little bit more what we told them, that Sykes was shooting the three well, the Cloud was shooting the three well, and so we didn't necessarily get as close as we had hoped. And then what happens is when they start making shots, then your regard for the paint starts to wane, and that's what happened for us. It was, 40 was too many points in the paint, but overall, our offense, didn't ever hit that skid that sometimes we experience, and the second quarter was a -6 for us. Wasn't because of our offense; it was certainly because of our defense. But we were trying to be mindful of not having any quarter that was really a train wreck for us. So success to us in that regard.
First off, how you doing, Coach?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. When I saw you in Washington after the game,
Yeah.
post game, I said you had got your first win, and I
Yeah.
said, this team, if you stay the course, you all will trend upward, and you're doing that. What helped you all stay the course during those low moments to have your moments now?
Yeah, I think we have a team, that I've said that, when you walked in the gym and we were 0-6, you didn't necessarily walk in and feel like this was a team that wasn't finding success. And so I think when you hit through, tough times, it's when you have your choice of people. That's when it really shows itself. And we have largely the right group that cares about each other, that cares about the team's success, that we were all a part of the solution. There was no pointing of fingers, et cetera. We had to learn, we knew we had to learn. A lot of those losses were by 5 or less. So it wasn't like we weren't in game. So we knew we were close. Just a really good group of people that I think we have good leadership in Nafisa, and I think K-Mac deserves credit, for her helping us, kind of find our way. And in each game, she's putting her mark from a leadership standpoint.
And one more for you. Although we're in Minnesota, the kids back in the DMV are really proud of Diamond Miller. What have you seen
Yeah.
from her growth just in such a early rookie
Yeah.
career?
Well, if you watch us throughout the season, the stuff that Diamond would maybe do that she kind of had to learn that it's not going to be easy to do in our league. Things that you could get away with when you played in college that I'm sure her college coaches told her, it's going to be different at the next level. You have to experience it. And that's largely on the defensive end. Like she'll tell you, I could, in college, I could not guard a player very well and it still turn out okay. And now if she's not locked in defensively, her player's going to score. I think offensively, her recognition of how to score, when to score, she's shooting the perimeter shot well. She's really confident in that area, and we've needed that, right, to try to help open things up for her to be able to attack into the paint. So she's settling into, like, hey, I can't always drive. It's not open. There's 3 people in there. She's sharing the ball. I mean, look at her passes and pick and roll. I mean, we missed some layups, so she should have been north of 9 assists. She should have had, a double-double with assists. And so she's the first rookie in the history of the WNBA to record more than 20 points, more than 9 assists, and to have 1 or less turnover. There's no other rookie that's ever done that. And so she just keeps learning. And if you look at Diamond, it's just so refreshing that no matter the moment, she just wants to do well. You can tell her what she did. She wants to fix it. There's no objections. A lot like Fee when we had her as a rookie, they just listen. And I think that's why she's improved. She's not trying to tell us that what she's doing is the right thing. I mean, you get a lot of players like that, that you can't tell them anything. And Diamond has been refreshing in that regard. You're welcome.
Congrats on the win, Coach.
Thank you.
You touched on a few of the things Washington does well offensively.
Yeah.
Coming into that second half to hold them under 20 in both quarters. What was the message defensively to the team at the half, and how do you assess the performance on that end of the floor in the second half?
Well, and we felt like, and I probably should give him a little more credit in the post game, that come out in the third quarter and hold them to 13. I should have given him a little more credit. We just didn't feel like we were doing very much to dictate. Our sense of urgency to get through an action, we were content with them running at the pace they were running at through their stuff and with little resistance. I felt like we needed to get closer to people. I thought we needed to get through the ball screens better. Thought our bigs needed to be up a little closer and just overall just get a little more collective resistance. And, I thought that the paint, we were just okay. I wanted us to be a little bit better there. Hines Allen got free a little bit. But overall, we just talked about, trying to, just each do something a little bit more to provide some resistance. Finished with rebounds. They had 4 offensive rebounds in the first 5 minutes of the third because we were getting stops. If we had finished one and done early in that third, we had a chance that, 4 straight possessions that I thought we had them. If we just come up with a rebound and we play with pace, then maybe we could get, separation earlier. But overall, I mean, I'm happy with our response defensively.
And one of those players for them who got off to a hot start, but you put the clamps
Yeah.
on as the game went on. I know my colleague Jen Hatfield's working on a feature on Brittany Sykes, who
Okay.
got off to a great start in that first
Yeah.
quarters. What makes her a tough player to game plan against and defend on that end of the floor?
Well, I mean, she's just so physically gifted, and she's a veteran, so she certainly, brings a lot of knowledge to what she's doing. She's got confidence. She's been with Washington a little bit longer now. I think when we saw her early in the season, it was kind of new, and she's trying to figure out her place. With the injuries, it really seems as though they've gone to Cloud and Sykes and said, hey, you guys got to go make this happen for us. And they've been terrific, both of them. So what we saw, from both of those players is exactly what they've been doing. They've been putting the team on their back and, with the other players trying to, play off them a little bit. But Sykes is just, she's just athletic, gets to places, can finish at the rim. She's shooting the ball, fairly well. And so she's a tough cover in terms of if you get too close, she's going by you. And even your shell help is you're just not going to get there. You're going to get a hand in there, not a body. Her defensive effort clearly is, is what has always separated her. And she had 4 steals and was pretty disruptive. And they had Littles guarding Fee, so it kind of created a little bit of funky matchups. Both Sykes and Cloud, they're just both ends. They're just really doing a lot for their team.
A couple first a follow up on the Diamond question. I mean, she had a kind of an unforced error turnover in the second half when it was kind of a tight game. You called a timeout, and I was wondering if that's one of those minutes where you can say to her, "You can't do this, you can't do that," and she listens because she came out and finished the game very strongly after that.
I can't remember exactly the situation. Was that the one we just sailed it like it was just not? Yeah. I don't necessarily know that we talked about that. We just tried to kind of, give us a little bit more pointed offense. I think in those situations, Diamond recognizes that, and she's not blaming the person that didn't catch it. She's not blaming somebody for the play call. I mean, she's the first one to, say that was on her. And her teammates have been terrific to her, and I think they're terrific to her because she's so receptive to them giving of themselves to try to help her. So it's just really been fun having Diamond.
And finally, for me, Kayla kind of got on track late in the fourth in the last game.
Yeah.
Today, another 3 steals, including that huge one at the end of the first half. I mean, doesn't that almost change everything about the way you feel about yourselves going into halftime when
For sure.
when she did something like that?
For sure, yeah, and we've been playing off of her. I love when she drove, got a couple layups, and that was a really good game for K-Mac, and she's just taken upon herself to, give us those effort plays, and I mean, how exciting is that? Like right before half, like you said, and then hitting that shot, and she got her 800th defensive rebound, she got her 300th steal, in not all in one game, but she got her career. She was able to get that, and played through, some strange officiating. I mean, don't ask me on, some of these. I think as a group, as a league, we have to talk about the ability to review and exactly what's happening. We have a very low overturn rate in our league, and I have my theories on it. It gets to the point where you feel like you just might as well not even use your challenge. You might as well save your timeouts. I suspect that's why Eric didn't review the take foul, which I thought was a bad call. It was not a take foul. And so we got free throws on that. And but anyway, all that aside, that's I guess that's a larger issue for someone else. Say it again.
Apparently, he was very vocal about his opinions on it.
As he should have been. As he should have been. I mean, I don't. It's just I don't know, baffling. The easy stuff. I mean, marginal contact. I mean, I can't tell you that I have ever seen a player call for a foul doing what Diamond Miller did. Diamond Miller did not sit down and back into a player to cause a foul. I don't know if you guys saw the replay on that, but I don't know in what universe. You certainly won't see that in the NBA game. And I think that's our league's got some work to do.
So regardless of how you got there, but you got to the line 23 times
We did,
tonight.
yeah.
You were talking pregame about
Yep.
want to see him drive more. I mean, how impressed were you with the way your team responded doing that tonight?
Well, we had to, and because we were really getting outmatched at the 3-point line, but we were getting to the foul line. They were getting threes. We returned to our aggressive play, and that was absolutely something we wanted to get done. And so was impressed with our ability to get there and finish and get to the foul line and really take advantage of that. That's obviously a big part of our identity.
Joel, it feels like Diamond is throwing passes and doing so accurately with a certain touch on passes that she probably wouldn't have even attempted a month ago. Just what have you seen that's really fueled her development as a passer and how impactful that development has been?
Us trying to put her in situations where the passing is effective. We've put her in more ball screens. We had learned along the way that because I think initially coming in here, we didn't necessarily have a sense that she could play in pick and roll. We've needed, more pick and roll actions, beyond just the point guard. And so just through the course of doing it, she's pretty effective in that space, and that's where she gets most of her good passing. And we've tried to eliminate the places where she's not good. And so I think Diamond's enjoyed that. I think we can even get her more in transition. We can sprint up to her and get her earlier ball screens while the defense isn't set. And but I think Diamond's enjoying this part of the game.
And And only one turnover.
Yeah.
has to be
Yeah.
a good sign.
Yeah, the one that Kent saw.
Would you have it any differently?
Right, I wouldn't have it any different, no.
Last one for me, Coach. You mentioned after the Vegas game that I don't know which one of us was the one who asked, "Are you glad to be done with Vegas?"
Yeah.
We said, there's plenty to like in terms of learning from that game, and
Yeah.
I know it's a one game at a time approach, but this being the second of 6 consecutive games, all against teams that are higher in the
Yeah.
playoff seeding. Was there more to learn from this game, and how will that help over this next 4-game stretch against 2 very difficult
Yeah,
opponents?
I mean, I think it's just, we don't necessarily look at things that way. It's like next opponent up. I mean, I think we're just in this space, like, bring it on. I mean, that's what's next, and we're gonna see what we can do. We haven't played New York at all. As you know, we were supposed to play them earlier, so it'll be first time playing an opponent. They'll come with some challenges, and then, playing Connecticut in Connecticut twice and come back home and play New York. I mean, that's what the schedule says, so let's go do it.
Any further questions?
All right, thanks.